This shit is wild crazy, nah. Look at y'all beautiful people out here right now. Look at y'all beautiful people right now. When she said put up the signs, it went all the way to the back. Do you know we out here ready for the revolution? You ready to go? Y'all ready to go? Because it's go time. Y'all ready to go? All right? Because we ain't got time to just be standing down here listening a little bit and we ain't ready to go.
For far too long, Black lives have been discounted, has been, disregarded, disenfranchised.
If Black Lives Matter bothers you as a phrase, but All Lives doesn't and Blue Lives doesn't, it's the word Black that really bothers you.
Right now, at this time, we're not trying to attack you. We need you on our side so we can work together.
We're not saying that your life don't matter. We're saying that our lives matter.
And there's some sort of narrative that, I have a Black friend, so I can't be racist.
I have a lot of white friends in my life. I have a lot of Black friends in my life, and I can pretty much see the difference. I have been on the end of Black jokes from white people. And do I think it's funny? Yeah, I do sometimes, but I also think it's unnecessary.
It's not these overt things that you're thinking about. It's these small little things that kind of make you know that you're not a part of us.
Violence is not the answer, but if that was what took for you to really open your eyes to what the issue is here, then by all means, so be it.
More often than not, it's not the protesters. It's people who are, again, hijacking that narrative and turning it into being this use of propaganda to discredit an entire movement that has largely, and for the most part, been peaceful.
Now you see someone on camera, 8 minutes and 49 seconds, screaming, "I can't breathe," and then the cry for their mom.
The police officer told me that they broke his nose. And I was kind of like, why did it escalate that fast?
Who is it your job to protect and who is it your job to serve? Because if you're not talking about all Americans, specifically brown people and Black people in this country, that defeats the whole purpose. Black on Black crime can't exist. White on white crime doesn't exist. How does Black on Black crime exist?
What, you don't trust me to do my job? And in my head, I think, no, I don't.
When you come into a neighborhood that's 90% African American, that you have a police force that's representative of that neighborhood.
Because this person has a record a mile long doesn't mean that that person deserves to die at the hands of police on camera.
They want it taken out of the militarization of a police department and put back into the community in ways that will help to service everybody.
Not to cut hair, you need twice as many hours of experience than you do to hold a gun and to hold someone's life in your hands.
My son says that he wants to be a police officer. So it's like, this has nothing to do with anti-police, it's anti-racism.
Civil rights is not a trend. These protests are not a trend.
This should not be an elective to talk about Black history.
White fragility is what makes race uncomfortable.
Black lives should matter. It's a human rights issue. We don't get to choose our race like you can choose a political party or like you can choose a profession.
Because a lot of people think that it's us versus them. It's not. It's everybody versus racist, and it's everybody versus these systemic systems of oppression, right? Now I would love it if everyone could kind of just summarize, I know it's difficult, but summarize how you're feeling today, knowing that this is a struggle that your parents and your grandparents have endured and that you're now going through, that your kids are going to have to probably deal with, and how you kind of intend to keep up the pressure for change every day. We'll start with you, Quindell.
Yeah, so as a father, Black man raising two Black kids, two Black sons to be exact, is a lot of, I've always had this passion for, activism, depending on how I did it. I wanted to use my voice in media. I remember as a student at OCC, one of the first projects I had was, really demanding people to hold each other accountable for the things that are happening. I remember, hosting a 6-hour radio show for the Jena 6 incident that happened maybe 10 years ago. And so, just really holding myself accountable and holding others accountable for for positive change is really what I'm all about, and hoping that, you know, as my kids grow up, they're able to live in a society where, you know, they matter, you know, and not just with words, and not just on paper, not just in a hashtag, but in action, where they matter to not just their family, but to the world at large. And, you know, I know it's going to be a fight that's going to be, you know, continued in different ways, different methods, but you know, my main concern is making sure my kids and those who grow up with them have a better way of life than I am having, or that I did, or that my grandparents did.
Jabari, if you would mind going next, let us know kind of how you're feeling and what your intent is for the future.
Um, Still being young, I'm only 21 years old, so I'm still in college. It's kind of crazy seeing all this unfold, you know, kind of because I didn't really hear a whole lot of stories of the past from my parents or my grandparents and whatnot. So just seeing this all happen right in front of my eyes, it's kind of crazy, you know. It's kind of like when they really said life is a movie, to me, this really is a movie right now. I'm like, what is going on? This is like a drama movie or something like that. That's escalated really fast, you know, and I plan on taking action. I do want to join the protest, and I want to join the fight. I have been pretty silent up till now about the situation, just because I didn't know how to feel about it. But I do want to join the action. I want to join the fight against racism. I I want to join Black Lives Matter. I've spoke about it about probably once, and that was just a black square that we posted on our social media. And I only posted it on Instagram just because I didn't know what to say or feel, but I want to join.
That's great. Carrie Ann, over to you.
First, Jabari, we're all taking this a day at a time, so I hope you don't put too much pressure on yourself. We as a generation might not really know how to act during this, and I know as a summary, like I've definitely felt like I was supposed to do a certain thing, but then I realized that I'd never been in this situation before, so there's no reason I should have put that pressure on myself. But something I've learned between this conversation, which I'm very thankful for, and the hundreds of conversations that I've had over the past couple of weeks, is there are good people out there. There are people that are trying, they didn't know, and now they're flipping a switch. I'm really thankful for allies and for people who want to be allies. I know we talked about it, but I still don't know if it was the three deaths in a row or what made this one stick or what made this click in America. But I'm thankful it did. It's going to be really painful and it's really hard, but I'm ready to do the work, and I hope other people are too.
Great moment. Yeah. I think for me, generally speaking, I'm feeling pretty hopeful, honestly. There's already been immense change that I think is really, really important to acknowledge and talk about. You know, like Chauvin was arrested the 29th. The mayor of Louisville suspended no-knock warrants because of the public outcry of what happened to Breonna Taylor. On June 1st, the Confederate monument was removed in Birmingham, Alabama. There's been a series of similar actions taken in other places across America on that note as well. Democrats and Republicans out here trying to prove that this is not a partisan issue began working to shut down the military weaponry of local law enforcement. And then on the 4th, Breonna Taylor's case was reopened. So those are just a couple of really huge things that have been changing, that have been like things are working, we're doing it. So I think that kind of, as you were saying, Carrie Ann, we have to acknowledge that what we're all experiencing right now is a collective shared trauma. This is not normal. It is not normal to every day go online and see videos of people being murdered by police, by white supremacists in general. It is not normal. It is not normal to be this deep in the weeds of not being able to get out of, because it's everywhere. It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's everywhere. And if you're not dealing with it there, you're at home and you're dealing with it with your family. And if it's not having these hard conversations, it's dealing with the fact, like Quindell, like you have 2 Black sons. Like, so for you, it's dealing with that trauma and that fear of what's going to happen when they get older, because they are targeted specifically. And so I think it's so important to acknowledge, this is traumatic and it is not normal and it is not okay. And so to kind of what you were talking about, Jabari and Carrie Ann, you know, it's important for us to realize, take breaks, take an hour off, take a day off, take a week off, take time off, get away from it, do what you have to do to heal, because at the end of the day, everybody else is going to be there. You know what I mean? So it's important that we lean on each other in these times, and we understand it's not up to just one of us to do this. You know, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they existed. They're gone. Guess what? It's still happening. We're still fighting. We're still the movement, you know? So even as we lose people and as we have lost people in the past, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep moving forward. So I'm hopeful because we're already seeing change, and that's a great, great place to be in.
That I know change is hard, but that we continue to approach people with gentleness and mercy, and that we continue to encourage the doorway to be open, to have conversations about what's kind of going on. Because I think that while activism is very important because it gets things out there on a broad scale, our influence will be multiplied on the individual level or the interpersonal level. We're able to take those different relationships we have with Caucasian people and are able to have conversations with them regarding these things. And so I think that I love it when I hear, oh, I have this one Black friend, or I have this two Black friends, because that means that the door is open for them to have more friends, right? But that the door is open for them to be able to have these interpersonal relationships where this immediate big change might be hard, but that we can begin to plant these different seeds, these different ideas into their head and slowly begin to change them. So I know it's a little frustrating because, you know, we all want to see this change happen overnight, and I wish it could too. But in reality, the change is in creating relationships with these different people. And so, you know, I have white friends who are starting to have kids, and we're real close, and we've had these conversations. And now, you know, I'm gonna be like an uncle to their kids and be in their life. And so they're gonna grow up seeing me, and we're gonna have these different interactions so that when they're an adult, right, they're gonna see the world a little differently than their parents do. And in this way, we kind of take a step-by-step approach to kind of changing the world. And I think as each generation, or as each new child grows up and we're more connected, we'll start to see change.
Thank you all for joining this forum, and all of you who watched and listened to our voices. Our generation has accepted the baton in this fight for justice and decided not to stop until change is realized. But change won't come quick or easy. And like the Constitution itself, maintaining the progress we achieve will continue forever. Black Lives Matter, and are you listening?
Black Lives Matter.